Start. I always start off the interviews with some cool music.
Love it, man.
Anyways, man, thank you. How you doing today?
You know, just getting ready to, just packing up pretty much. Got my Taco Tuesday later on today. So, just going day by day with everything right now.
No doubt. And we'll get into that. If you don't mind, I'm going to make some kimchi tacos real quick while I interview. Is that cool?
Solid, my man. Perfect.
All right.
Sounds fire.
So it's eggs and kimchi tacos. So do me a favor. Talk to me about how you got into cooking, my brother.
So I got into cooking probably about, I grew up in a big family, man. I come from a background of Sicilians, and my mother was born and raised in Brazil. So I've always been around like large gatherings of food, cultured foods, and I loved it. And growing up, I really didn't think about ever being a chef. All I ever really wanted to do was play baseball. So I moved to California when I was about 10 years old with my family, and baseball was my life. And then once, hurt myself, I really didn't know what I really wanted to do. About 2008, me and my family moved back out to the East Coast, and I was working in a restaurant just as a food runner. But it was a very busy restaurant. I loved the whole pace.
When you say the East Coast, what does the East Coast mean?
Lived out in New York. I was living in Carmel, New York, and I worked for a diner called Ever Ready Diner. And it was busy from the moment you walk in at 3:00 in the afternoon all the way through about 3:00 in the morning. We were right next to a train station, so always seeing people just funnel in and out. And then after a couple months, I moved up to the food expediter. Then I moved over to, server/soda jerk, which is because it was an old school 50 diner. So wearing a bow tie, suspenders, everything.
Classic.
And I loved it. I loved the whole atmosphere. So we were out there for like 11 months, and then we moved back out to California. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. And my mom convinced me. It's like, you always love cooking, like, and stuff like that. So why don't you go to culinary school? And I was just, I was like, why not? What's the worst that can happen to me right now? So went down to Santa Barbara, which is beautiful. And for a kid, being 19 years old, living in paradise like that, it was unreal. Like probably 3.5 years, the best of my life. And then cooking down there, even after culinary school, I still didn't know.
My peeve is when people serve taco, I char the tortilla, man.
Oh, dude, char is life, man. That's everything. Charring is such a good flavor element. And like, even when I put that on menus, people are just like, why are you charring it? I was like, just try it. Just trust.
Exactly.
Just trust. You got to trust the chef, man. And then up until about 8 years ago, like I moved home from school, and the owner of the restaurant I just applied to be a server at, because I just wanted to make some fast money, make up the money that I lost. He saw that I was just got done with culinary school, and he asked me if I wanted to come cook, and I was just like, shit, why not? Let's get started. Started off as a line cook, worked with a chef. He also ran a catering company called Pacific Coast Events. The restaurant was Sanctuary Ultra Lounge. The catering company was Pacific Coast Events. Started helping out a lot more here and there. And then in 2013, I was actually in a really terrible car accident with my mother, and I actually lost her during the car accident.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, so the worst part was I was driving, and at the time I just had a suspended license, and I actually ended up getting charged a lot for it. So I was in the whole court process for a good 2.5 years, just trying to, keep my life normal. I had all my family behind me because I fell asleep at the wheel. As simple as that. How I'm alive, because I flew off the side of a hillside about 150 feet, rolled another 100 feet down. Luckily, I'm here, still alive, and it took me probably another 1.5 years after that being a chef was what I needed to do. Through that next 1.5 years of just working in the kitchen, just keeping my mind busy, trying to not think about everything.
What helped you cope with it?
Cooking, 100%. So, and what really opened my eyes to it was my head chef had left, and we had an opening for the head chef. So I was just getting into my, just started doing special after special. And then one night I did a really simple special. It was a Brazilian dish my mom would always make. It was nothing really crazy.
What dish?
Farofa.
Huh?
Farofa.
Oh, yep.
So I did it as a special, and I sat out at the bar and I watched the woman eat it, and her face, her eyes just it lit up. She was just like, "Wow!" Like, and when I saw that, it envisioned me seeing like I made that dish for my mother,
Yeah.
and I saw my mom's face in her eyes like light up, like damn, like you did that. And ever since that, man, I've stuck into it. I ended up being the head chef at Sanctuary for 4.5 years. I was
Yeah.
the head chef for the catering business for the same amount of time. After that, I left to go. I never really had a chef like over me to like teach me new techniques and cooking styles and stuff like that. So I went over to San Jose, worked for SP2 Communal Bar and Restaurant, and was training for the morning sous chef position. And just I wanted to learn a whole different
Check it
stuff.
out.
Ooh, those are fire, my man.
Yeah, a little watery
So,
where you need some, little runny but cooked, and then the chives from the Arrow Garden. But
ooh,
it's so ironic you have Taco Tuesday. So you went to San Jose. When was your aha moment that you knew? Obviously, to me, it's probably a dish that connected you with moms, and to have a traditional dish in the States to impact, that's
mhm,
dope. But what
yeah.
about, let's talk about your aha moment, because you had gone to culinary school, you had gone through some challenges. What was your aha moment saying, okay,
My
this is what I want?
my aha moment was because after I was in San Jose, I came back up to Pleasanton and helped open up a beer baron bar and kitchen in Pleasanton, and then I helped open up the Oakland and Santa Rosa one. But even then, those ones still I wasn't like booming. And then I had a friend who reached out to me because I'd always had in my mind like I loved catering. I love doing events. I love cooking for massive groups of people. I love the atmosphere. It's just so lively, and it's just even like weddings, like seeing like cooking for someone for their like special day and seeing their face light up at the end of it. Like that shit just it feels so good. Like I don't need you to say my food's good. I don't need you to say anything. Like if I see your face and it's just a big wow, like that's gonna do it for me. Like that's the
Fulfilling.
best compliment.
It's
That's the best
fulfilling.
compliment for me. Yep. And then so I my buddies did this wedding, and it was about a 150-person wedding in November of last year. And like it felt so good doing it, like, and it was all me, it was all my work, it was all my workers, like everything that I was doing, it was my show that I ran, and it went so smoothly. And after that day, I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna open up a catering business, and I'm gonna name it after my mother, and I named it Wanda's Fine Catering.
Dope. I saw
Yeah.
that.
So, and it's a way of me tributing everything that I do, cooking aspect wise, to her. You know, it's something she can watch me do 365 days out of the week, from morning to sunshine, like all that. So it sucks not having her here, but knowing that I can do something that she loved watching me do, and she can see me do it, it's amazing. It's an
They keep
amazing
you
feeling.
going. So let me ask you this: where you are a chef, man, that's what you love to do.
What
So
I love doing, man.
you have the way you need to think about it, or you should think about it. Is you have no other option.
Exactly.
Where do you want to be in the next 3 years?
In the next 3 years, so as of right now, with the whole COVID thing, you know, this whole last year, like I've really watched the restaurant industry just get destroyed in
Yeah.
California. It's not going to be anywhere back to normal for a good year, maybe 2 years. And for what I want, it's really not. You know, I can't really afford 2 years like not being normal. You know, and it's not like I don't want to go and do do a desk job and hate myself. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
even just when I sit at a like it's the only time I really want to sit at a computer, look at numbers, create menus. That's about it. I don't want to sit at a computer and have to figure out graphs and all that other bullshit. You know what I mean? Like that to me is just not what I want to do. So now I'm actually after Beer Bird, I had actually gotten a job with a company called Greek House Chefs. We're basically corporate private chefs for sororities and frats nationwide. And I had been at a sorority in San Jose for a year, and then I was at a sorority for Berkeley as well. And luckily, they're still in business, doing very well. And my father had actually recently gotten laid off, and you know, COVID is just it's done so much, and California has really just taken a lot from him. And my parents always did everything for their kids. Like me and my brothers, we had the best lives growing up. You know, we wanted to play baseball 300 days out of the year. We played baseball 300 days out of the year. So, and you know, seeing my father, how much it's crushed him being out here, like I want my father to be able to relax and retire comfortably. So I went out and contacted my old bosses because the way I look at it was whatever work I do, like even if I hate it or don't like it, I don't burn bridges, because you never know, like that bridge, you might have to cross that bridge one more time again.
Yeah.
And so luckily I reached out to my CEO and they offered me an amazing opportunity to go cook for another sorority, but for the University of South Carolina. And luckily that it's wide open. Like, restaurants are damn near 75% indoor dining. One of my old roommates, actually, he's actually been living and working in Charleston, South Carolina for a restaurant that owns a few of them out there. So during summer and winter times, like when the school's out, I can go work over there. And the best part
Yeah.
is I get to go still learn.
I have some friends that own a Cuban restaurant out there, so I'll connect you.
Oh, very absolutely. Thank you, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
no, it's dope. And I got another interview today with another cat who's got a restaurant in South Carolina, so that's a trip.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
that's what we're here. That's what we're here to connect, chef. So
I appreciate that.
So you're heading back. You're passionate about cooking. At some point, have you ever thought about, once this all settles, but in the back of your mind, do you want to scale your catering to eventually do that full time? Tell me your thoughts on the business side of it.
I would love, so the cater, what my goal was for being out here was to basically make the catering my backbone. That was going to be my moneymaker, and that was going to set me up to eventually open up my own restaurant and name it after my mother.
There you go.
That still is my goal. And over the course of the last 8 years, I've done nothing but set myself goals and I crush them. It might take a month, it might take 6 months, it might take a year, 2 years. That next day is never guaranteed. So I would try to take it as slow as possible. That way, when it comes time to it, it's as perfect as possible.
You have to be goal oriented because it helps you deal with the chaos. I always tell
exactly.
people. Exactly. So you're moving out there. You cook awesome dishes. So what are some of your favorite dishes you love that you can say you like, this is my shit?
Oh, man, there's such a wide variety, and especially nowadays, like, you have all these new shows come on, you someone doing this that's so different, you want to tap in with it a little bit. So lately, man, fusion for sure. Latin cuisine is big in my eyes. I would like to do something along the line of mixing like Latin, Brazilian, and even maybe like an Italian fusion type deal, because a lot of the flavors are very similar in their own ways. It's just a matter of executing it into making it perfectly taste like the way you want it. And that comes with research and development right there. So,
Brazilian is so diverse anyways, culinary. And then, being in the Bay, you have different nationalities.
Exactly. So,
and then of course you always will have to have that kind of, health conscious if you want to ask, to offer that. But I think you have a good base to play with. And that's a beautiful part of when people move around, you get different flavors. That's why chefs are like artists,
exactly.
Because they're like musical artists. They're writing their own thing. So I love tradition because you grow from that. That's the education, but you have to evolve without force.
Oh, yeah.
Flavors got to go,
Exactly. So like what my Taco Tuesdays consist of. Working in Livermore. Obviously, really, what's huge out here is birria, and there's no birria anywhere near like Livermore. A place you got to go to is pretty much Oakland, and not everyone likes to go to Oakland. Why? I don't know. Obviously, it's gotten a bad name, but there's plenty of other worse places in the world. I love going to Oakland. Oakland has some of the best street food. So yeah, if you were to take what I love to do, street food is what I love. It's something that it's not expensive to buy. It's filling. Like I still would love to, get into the whole Michelin star type aspect, but what I like out of a restaurant is being able to come to a restaurant, enjoying the experience, enjoying the ambiance, and most of all, being full as hell when I leave. Being full with
and the flavors have to match. Listen, that's like the whole biggest misconception that, mom and pops don't get sometimes enough of those at the table because it's always French inspired and what have you. And it has to be, there has to be another measurement. The measurement right now is social media and also profitability.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
If an old lady in Berkeley, California is killing it, making $300,000 a year selling pupusas, then who are we to tell her where she can improve?
Yep. Exactly. You got to just literally find out what you're that good at and just go with it. Like, don't care about what people say about you. Like, if you know it's good and you're getting people coming back in and out, you're doing it right. You might have that one customer that might not like your flavor, or they might not like that, but you can't base your whole journey and your whole food aspect on one customer.
No, not at all.
There's millions and billions of people in the world, and you're bound to, no matter what, get one. Because I don't care what anybody says, not one person's perfect. Even if you got 3 stars, you got that 3rd star because you failed at one point.
Yeah, bro. Listen, I don't like liver, and that's a delicatessen, or
exactly
duck pate. I just don't like it. But let's get into some kind of fun questions. All right, you ready?
I'm ready, my man.
All right. What's your pet peeves in the business?
Pet peeves in the business, man. One of them is not asking enough questions. Like I've had countless amounts of cooks that'll just say, "Oh yeah, I understand it. Oh yeah, I got it." And then it comes time for service, they get ready and they're doing it, and it's completely fucked up.
Yep.
And a lot of the times they'll just be like, "Oh well, we saw you were busy." And it's like, no, there's never a point where you're too busy to accept a question. Because one thing, especially if you're running the menu and it's your kitchen, you should be open to all questions, all answers, whatever it is. Especially if you got someone coming in there for 2 weeks. Like, you can't just expect them to come in, "Oh yeah, I have this record of cooking at all these restaurants." You don't know exactly what they did at those restaurants. You don't know how they did things. Every chef is different. Every technique is different.
Yep.
Most importantly, ask questions. That's even with servers. Servers should always come in, know the menu. Like, and another thing that I hate is when a server comes in that's even been there for a month. They come in and they ask the chef, like, "Hey chef, what's in this?" And I'll just look at them. I'm like, really? Really? You've been here for a month and you're going to a table and you're telling your table, "Oh, let me go ask the chef real quick." No, that should never happen. Never should happen. Like, you're coming in, you're making money. Even if you're a server, a busser, no matter what, you're making money. Nowadays, making money is very important because some people are just sitting at home making unemployment. But if you're making money right now, you should study the hell out of the job as if it's your last job, no matter what it is. Even if, I'm not talking shit on it, but even if you're a janitor, you still got duties, you're still making money. Study the hell out of your job,
Yeah,
It's
be the best in your craft. That could also apply into your pet peeves in society, right?
Exactly.
What's your pet peeve in society? The same thing you would say?
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because society's so spun around everything else what's going on right now. And that's another thing is, like, with social media, it's like you see something new, this, and then the whole vaccine and then politics and all the other bullshit. Like, I, for one, I'm not a person that gets into politics. If I hear politics conversation, I kind of step out. What I see from politics is I just see arguments, people getting angry. There's so much more shit in the world that if you want to get angry at it, get angry at it. But don't just sit there and argue with another person about a politic,
Not who you voted for, but did you vote the last election?
I did not.
I think that it's important now because voting locally impacts our businesses, and so I always tell people, listen, we got to get informed to vote to understand how local folks can impact our business.
I will admit, the one thing I did sign was the recall on Gavin Newsom. That's the one thing I did sign.
I'm game with that. That's a first step. That's a first step to a voice,
Yeah. So
if anything, this division has shown us is that we technically have a pencil to start rewriting.
Absolutely.
So that's a good thing. All right. So if the world was ending tomorrow, who would you like to have dinner with?
Yeah. Oof. Definitely, probably my family. Family for sure. Because at the end of the day, like, your friends will take you so far. Your family will always be there. Blood is always there. Blood's in your body. It's it's in your family's body, and no matter what, some emotion that you're gonna feel, that same family member will probably feel that same emotion because you got the same blood. And my mother was our rock to the family. Like, she held us together. She was like the glue. And losing her, like, it lost a lot of our family. Like, a lot of us kind of went our own ways, but slowly over time, we've slowly come back together because family holds us together. Like I said, they're always going to be there no matter what, through the hardships, through the tough times, all of it. It's called family for a reason.
Family will always be there, and your mom will always be smiling down, guiding you down. So when she sees you not always happy, she wants you happy. So that is cooking, that is making a career out of this. Last meal on earth, what would it be? You don't have to cook it. I'm just saying your last meal.
Last meal, man. I'd say either a rare to medium rare 16-ounce ribeye with some fire chimichurri over the top of it. That's about it, man. Or that, or just take that and throw it in a taco because I love tacos.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Okay, so that's awesome. Now you did say let's talk a little chimichurri chronicles. You
Okay.
really like making chimichurri?
Chimichurri is my favorite, and I do mine a little different. My chimichurri is I don't blend it. I don't blend it with a whole lot of oil. I keep it more. It's more like a rough chop chimichurri. I use red Fresno chili peppers, um, garlic, red onion, cilantro, and Italian parsley, and then I also throw in tahini.
You let it sit for a while or instant?
I let it sit for about a good hour and a half.
Got it.
So because
Why
I
the
don't use
why
I
the
don't
tahini? Why the tahini?
it gives it a nice little aspect to it, because I mean, obviously you're adding chilies and lime juice to it already. This gives it a little bit more of like a oomph. It makes it more like vibrant, and it's just
Yeah,
it's when you take
because the tahini kicks through and it's almost like coarse pepper.
exactly. So instead of throwing like a crushed chili flake in there or whatnot, I
Yep.
really finely mince up the red Fresno to get that heat, and then the tahini just brings that flavor out even more. It's different, and I've been running with it for the last probably 3 years. Whenever I do like fine dining events and stuff like that, it's always one of my chimichurris. So, and
Listen,
a lot.
if it tastes good, it looks colorful, and it
Mhm.
works, why change it back to tradition? Because the traditional, you have to let it sit for a couple days because it's the
Oh yeah.
parsley needs to mellow out and
Hmm.
very oily based.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
like
and
yours. Mine's like yours. Fresh herbs. I use
hmm
cilantro, garlic, and then obviously I try to balance it so I don't use any vinegar. I use just lemon.
hmm
But I coarsely grind the pepper because I want some crunch to it. So, and
Okay, very
I
nice.
just like the freshness. But yours was dope because I like the Fresno chili aspect of it. And now that you mentioned
Hmm.
tahini and less oil, that's a flavor within itself.
Exactly, and it's like because I the thing is too is like regular chimichurri. I really don't the whole oil aspect of it dripping all over the place. Like I mean, because you're really not getting any flavor from that oil. Like unless it's really really getting cooked into it, then you ain't gonna get that flavor. You're just gonna have some oil dripping on the plate.
A hundred
So
percent. I'm glad someone else thought that. I always, because I use fresh herbs, I put less oil than normal because
hmm
the natural liquid from the herbs. But I like
exactly,
it to be chunky because you're right from a flavor standpoint, but also from a presentation standpoint. The oil's all over the place, and especially with
exactly.
the juice of the meat, then it's just like people's gonna gross people out. So,
Yeah,
anyways, Jeff, listen, thank you for your time, bro.
of
What I
course,
want to
man.
connect was, your story, and I think it's you got to now cook for yourself, make your mom happy. I love that you're family oriented. You got the chops, bro. And
Thanks, man.
best of
Appreciate you.
luck. We're gonna have you back on the show to talk about how it is over there on your next step. And
Perfect, man. I make the move. I go out there or go up there at 16th for like a week,
mhm.
and then I'll be out there officially, hopefully by like February 4th.
Okay, so we're gonna
So,
stay in touch, man. Thank you for
of
your time.
course, man.
I'll shoot
Appreciate
you.
you, man. Thank you.
That's what we're doing, my brother. Be good.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Have a good one.